Hey everybody, it's Eric with Low VA Rates. I'm sure you know what day it is because I'm wearing red. It's Friday. We love doing these videos on Friday. Not only is it the end of the week, but we get to support our veterans by wearing red swag. R, remember. E, everyone. D, deployed. Remember everyone deployed and who has served every Friday. Shout out to our military. If you haven't, speaking of red, there's a red subscribe button. I hope you didn't miss it. It's down there to your right. I want you to subscribe so that you get these YouTube videos every single time they come out. Moving forward, however, we're going to talk about start to finish every step of the VA home buying process, okay? VA home buying. We're talking about buying today. Process. There are tons of veterans out there buying homes. It's an amazing time to buy homes. Interest rates are low, home prices are good, and what an amazing country to be buying a home in anyhow, right? So let's get into this. If you're a first-time buyer, you might not know exactly how buying a home works. What steps happen, when they happen, how the process can go, what you can expect. I want to lay all that out for you today. Now, if you're a seasoned home buyer, you can just fast forward this video. I just found this out the other day. You can actually speed up on YouTube the speed at which the video goes, so you might even try that. But if you're a first-time buyer, bear with me. We're going to get through this, and you're going to feel like an expert when we're done. First step, make sure you qualify, okay? Now, when we're talking about qualifying for VA loans, because we can do all loans here, but today I'm talking specifically about VA loans. Before we even start looking at income and credit and whether or not you can afford the home, we need to make sure that you meet the VA's service requirements, okay? So I'm going to go over a general summary of these requirements for regular service members. Number one, 90 total days of wartime service. 90 days wartime. Hopefully you can see that, okay? That's one. If you didn't serve during wartime, 181 days. I think it's funny they threw that one extra day on there. 181 days of continuous peacetime service. I'm going to put continuous peacetime service, 181 days. However, there are a couple of time periods that carry a 24-month service requirement, and these can be found listed on the VA's website. Not getting into that today. We're just getting general. Now let's talk about National Guard or Reserve service members. Okay? These were for our normal service members, standard service members. I won't use the right word here. Let's talk about National Guard or Reserve service members. 90 days of active duty during the Gulf War. 90 days Gulf War. Okay? Number two, 6 years of service if you weren't activated during the Gulf War or you served in any other time period. 6 years, I'm just going to put other time periods. Lots to remember here. You can find this online. You can pause the video. Now, once you know your military service qualifies, you should also make sure that you meet some of the other requirements, okay? And those include, you better plan to live in the home. You cannot use a VA loan to go buy a investment property down in Malibu. Can't do that. So if that's where you're heading, you're not going to want to go VA loan, okay? Occupancy. You've got to occupy. Sorry, guys, my writing's all over the place today. You've got to occupy the property as your primary residence. Number two, after paying your other monthly expenses, you need to make sure you have enough income left over for your mortgage payments. We talk about that in other videos. You might want to just write down, if you're keeping notes, debt to income or residual income. I might decide to get into that in this video, but if I keep it simple, just know that besides occupancy, you better have enough money. Now you may say, well, Eric, that's pretty obvious. Trust me, it's not obvious to everybody. We've had people try to apply for a loan. They wanted a $2,500 mortgage payment every month for this grandiose house. They only made $2,000 a month. I'm not going to go there. Maybe there was some misunderstanding, but make sure you meet that you have enough income to afford the house you're buying. Now, you also have to meet the lender's credit requirements. We've talked about that in many videos. VA is a little bit less strict on credit requirements, but you got to have, the credit history needed. I want to write that down in case you're following along. So once you've determined whether or not you qualify, either through your military service and some of these basic ideas that I just shared with you, the second thing you're going to do is you're going to want to find a VA home loan lender, right? Unless you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash floating around and you're going to buy in cash, then none of this really matters anyhow. Number 2, find a lender. Notice how I did that? Find a lender, low VA rates. Writing low VA rates and saying lenders kind of messed me up a little bit. Look, we want to work with you, but there's a lot of good lenders out there. If you decide to work with somebody else, that's okay. You know, you need to find a VA lender, someone that does VA loans. And you're going to want to make sure you choose someone that knows what they're doing, is basically what I'm saying. And don't just go with the first lender you contact. Even if that's low VA rates, we got to be fair. Now, if you've worked with us in the past and you've done your shopping, your due diligence, and you're a return client, which we love you guys, maybe you don't need to shop as much after the first time, but as a first-time buyer, go out and shop. Make sure you're making all of the right decisions, and finding a good lender is one of those. If you can get 2 or 3 lenders to kind of compete against each other, I always refer to it as tug of war, eventually you're going to end up getting the best rate and the lowest fees possible. Now, in addition to this, you can use this time when you're shopping lenders to also take some time to learn how each of these lenders communicates. It might not be the most important thing for you to get the absolute lowest rate and the lowest fees if that lender goes 3 or 4 days without responding to an email, can never check their voicemail or pick up the phone. There's more than just the lowest rate out there when you're shopping and comparing lenders. During this stage in the process, early on, you can have your lender that you've chosen or your lenders order your certificate of eligibility, which is one of the very first things they're going to need to do in order to truly get your loan started. Because that certificate of eligibility, or COE, okay, that COE basically goes into all that military service requirements that we talked about, and it puts it on a piece of paper and says, yes, this person has earned the right to have a VA loan through their military service, okay? Let's talk about getting pre-approved. Very, very important process. Once you've determined that you've served enough time in the military, you've got your lender all picked out, then you're going to get pre-approved. I almost fell over there. Did you guys see that? I almost fell over. I don't know if that's going to make the cut. Maybe it will. Number 3, pre-approval. Got to get that pre-approval. We have videos that go into detail, deep detail on pre-approval, but just basically, this is an opportunity. It takes a little bit more work, but it's an important step so that you can know whether or not you can afford the homes that you're looking at. Most sellers aren't going to take you serious anyhow if you show up trying to make an offer on their home if you don't have this certificate or this pre-approval. I call it like the golden ticket. If you've ever watched that movie, Willy Wonka, you're not getting in to Mr. Wonka's chocolate factory without that golden ticket. You're not going to get a seller to take you serious if you don't have a pre-approval. So to get pre-approved, you're going to have to give authorization to pull your credit. You're going to have to start submitting some documents to the lenders that tell us about your income, your employment, assets and liabilities. And then whether it's low VA rates or another lender, we will use this information to roughly determine how much you can afford and probably what rate you qualify for. And that's when you can really start getting serious. You're going to need to provide all of this information later anyhow to get the loan actually approved. So why not get it up front, get it prepared and organized, and get a real solid pre-approval. Number 4, go find your dream home, okay, and make an offer. I guess I'll kind of put 2 things in one. Number 4 is find the home and make an offer. That's the fun part. This other stuff isn't as fun, but I'll tell you, there's nothing more fun than finding that home that you want to create all these future memories with your family in and making an offer on it. And that pre-approval letter in hand, you can go out with confidence and you can start doing that. Look, we've talked in other videos, you're going to want to probably use a real estate agent. I would suggest finding a real estate agent that has some VA loan experience. We have a database of real estate agents we can help put you in contact with, but you're eventually going to find that home. And then your agent's going to help you make an offer on that home and negotiate things like trying to get the seller to pay your closing costs or bring the price down a little bit. Once the seller accepts your offer, which might not happen the very first time, depending on where you're buying, there might be numerous offers coming into a new home. But once that offer is accepted, you're going to sign the actual purchase agreement, which is a really, really big step for a first-time home buyer. You may want to have your agent include contingencies. We've got a great video on contingencies. I just did it last week, I believe. These videos kind of run together after a while, but every Friday we're popping out new information, and I think you can go watch a contingency video if you just go back 1 week. But get that get that purchase contract in place, get an agent that's got your best interest in mind, and you're on your way. Now, you're going to have to get an appraisal done. That's part of the loan process. The appraisal is normally not done early. Some people go out and say, before I get a loan started, I want to get the home appraised. I wouldn't waste your time doing that. You're going to get the home appraised, okay, once your loan process starts. We'll help you order that, or your lender will help you order that. And a specific VA appraiser will come out and do the appraisal. The VA has certified this appraiser. It can't just be any Joe appraiser off the street. They have to be an approved VA appraiser. We can help you, or whatever lender you decide to go with, find that appraiser and get them out there. Now, VA appraisal is usually completed within about 10 days. But keep in mind, I've mentioned in other videos, we've heard stories of appraisals taking upwards of 30 days because there's been a shortage of appraisers in certain areas of the country. But as a kind of a generalization, expect an appraisal to take about 10 days. After the appraisal is completed, your lender is going to know what your home's value is. They're going to share that with you. You're going to know. And that's going to help you determine whether or not you're getting a steal of a deal. If you got a home that the purchase contract agreed to sell you the home for $200,000 and it appraised for $250,000, great. What happens if the appraisal comes in at $200,000 and you agreed to pay $250,000? Well, that's why that appraiser and that appraisal is there to protect you. You don't want to pay $250,000 for a home that's only worth $200,000. You couldn't get a loan on it anyhow in most cases. So that's where the appraisal comes in super, super important. The home will also either pass or fail minimum property requirements that the VA puts out. We've got videos on that. If it fails to pass those minimum property requirements, you may need to go look for another house. Or you might ask the seller to update those things that didn't pass beforehand. We've even had videos out there. I've done videos on ways in which you can get a waiver and have the VA kind of look the other way, if you will, on some of these minimum property requirements, but that's normally not going to happen, okay? If the home does pass the appraisal and the inspection process, then you're ready to move forward. So here's the best part. All this other stuff is done. You get to go close on your loan, close on your home. Everybody loves the closing date. That's what we're all pushing for. And when it's finally closing day, you're going to show up and you're going to sign a bunch of documents, most if not all of them, which you've already seen up front, called disclosures. You're going to pay any closing costs that might be due. Maybe you've rolled them all into the loan. Maybe the seller's covered them. But at the closing table, you're going to sit down either with a notary, an attorney, or a title company, and you're going to go over all the documents. You're going to ask questions if you have them. Call us. Call your loan officer if you have questions at that signing table. Your real estate agent should probably be there with you. After signing all these documents, guess what happens? Dang it, I don't have my keys in my pocket. I was going to do a little one of these things for you. You're going to get the keys to the home, and it's going to be amazing. I love seeing the smile on the face of first-time home buyers. There's nothing like buying your first home. Sure, upgrading years later or getting into investment properties, those also are certain milestones that are great. But that first time you've ever bought a home, it's like you finally tasted the pinnacle of the American dream, in my opinion, owning your own home. So it's incredible, okay? We broke it down to just 6 simple steps. It really is that simple if you're working with the right organization, low VA rates, right? But there's a lot of good companies out there. We like these YouTube videos, Facebook videos, wherever you're watching this. We really take pride in just knowing that we're educating you. We're increasing your confidence so that you don't have to feel anxious or stressed out during the home buying process. You don't need to. Now, how long is it going to take? 30, 60, 90 days. It kind of depends. I think 45 days in this market is probably standard to get a home under contract and then close it. But if you get a home under contract but don't start your loan process for 15 days, then it's going to be longer. So you got to kind of move quick. Thanks for watching. If we can help you with anything else, we'd love to. Now you know how to start and finish the home buying process, even though you're a first-time buyer.